Just before I get into this video, I just want to mention that I do mention about specs on the Lumix S5 Mark II, but this video is predominantly me just messing around, getting used to the camera. So yeah, there is a lot of waffling, but I just wanted to get used to the camera. I did record a little bit of footage with the Sony a7R II at the start, as you'll see in a second. I've matched the footage up colour-wise as best I can, but there is a big difference. So yeah, not there's no high-end production in this video. It's just me talking and waffling to a camera. Yeah, this is the video. Well, this feels weird. I've not sat down to make a YouTube video in a few weeks because if you've seen my last video or know, I broke my brand new Lumix S5 that I bought just a few weeks beforehand and broke the screen, and ever since then it has been in for repair. And since then, because I've been without a camera, even though I've been able to borrow this Sony a7R II from Holly, and I've been able to use some Canon cameras from work as well, being without my own camera, I've almost felt like I've lost a limb. Feels weird, I don't like it. But it has given me a very good excuse to go out and buy this. I'm very, very excited about it. This was announced just a few weeks ago, the brand new Lumix S5 II. I've already opened it. It's here. I was very, very excited. So yeah, I thought I would just make this very quick video giving my first impressions on the Lumix S5 II. I have also got the Lumix S5, as just mentioned. It is in for repair. This feels pretty much identical to the Lumix S5. It is, I'd probably say, slightly heavier. Now, it is quite difficult to say that without having the S5 with me at the moment. When I get it back, I will do a proper video comparing the two cameras. But yeah, this does feel slightly heavier. I'd say it feels better in the hand as well. And button-wise, they are pretty much identical to each other. The only slight difference cosmetically to the original Lumix S5 is on the top here, you have a fan inside, and that means that the camera can now record for an unlimited amount of time or until you run out of battery or memory card space without overheating. And that is great because the Lumix S5, when you were recording in 4K, I think 1080 might be unlimited in recording in 8-bit color, but predominantly it was limited to a 30-minute record limit. This now is limited, apart from if you're shooting in 6K 30 frames a second, I believe. But yeah, I'm very, very excited to use this. I've not yet recorded anything with it. I have turned it on just to set it up, but I thought this video could just be giving my first impressions of this Lumix S5, and I am now going to switch over and start recording with the Lumix S5 II. It's exciting. Okay, and now I am shooting on the brand new Lumix S5 II. I'm shooting in Vlog in 4K 422 10-bit color, 25 frames a second, ISO 640, which is the base ISO when you're shooting in Vlog. And how's the autofocus doing? This is the main thing that people are talking about with the new Lumix S5 II. How's it doing? Has it got me? It looks like it's got me. There's a cross on my eye. It should be working a hell of a lot better than the original Lumix S5 because it's got a completely new autofocus system. If you look very closely at the videos I made previously when I had my Lumix S5, you can in the background see these lights, and they sort of pulsed. And that's because the autofocus system wasn't as strong as it is on the new Lumix S5 II. It's got a brand new phase detect autofocus system, which means it tracks you, it locks onto you or whatever you're trying to focus on much quicker, and it stays locked on rather than pulsing around and losing focus a little bit. So that is a big, big difference to the original Lumix S5. And for me, like a lot of people, that is one thing that compromised the Lumix S5, because there are so many features on the Lumix S5 that make it a much more appealing camera to a lot of other cameras that are more expensive than it. Like I chose to go for the Lumix S5 over the Sony a7 IV, and I used to shoot Sony. Just because for video there are so many more options that the Lumix S5 gives you. It's like it's being aimed more towards video, and with the Lumix S5 Mark II now and the new autofocus system, it's like it's just taken another leap forward. And I think Lumix are onto something pretty special at the moment, because this camera is so much cheaper than its competitors, and this is the updated from the S5. The S5 is still an incredible camera, and I can't wait to get it back from being repaired. But even now, this new one is still so much cheaper than its competitors. The Canon R6 Mark II starts at 2,700 quid. This is 700 quid cheaper than the R6 Mark II. And for video, I don't think you can go wrong with this. It's just not lost me at all. No matter where I go, it's so quick. It is up there with the Sonys and the Canons. I've only been using this for an afternoon, but I've not had an issue with it yet. I'm going to go out of frame. Ooh. Got me? What about now? It just works so well. I have seen videos of people using Canon EF lenses as well, using a Sigma adapter on the Lumix S5 Mark II, and the autofocus works great. But using these Lumix native lenses, I don't think it'll ever have an issue, to be honest. This is the kit lens. This is the 20 to 60, 3.5 to 5.6 kit lens. Works great. I'll swap over to the 50mm in a minute as well. Now, I don't want this video just to be about specs, because there's loads of videos about specs on this camera, and I'm not particularly into specs, to be honest. If a camera works and does the job that you want it to do, then great. Just to name a few, it has got a full-size HDMI port instead of a micro HDMI port, which is great because you don't need any adapters and it's less fiddly. It shoots in 6K, which is just insane, and it records that internally as well onto your SD cards. Both SD cards are now UHS 2 compatible. It does now also have a fan, as I mentioned before, which sits just in the top of the electronic viewfinder, and that allows you to record for unlimited time now. The IBIS has also been improved in the Mark II, and apparently it is up to 200 times better than the original S5. Now that is impressive because the S5 was already incredible with IBIS and probably had some of the best IBIS out of any camera on the market. So I'm really looking forward to going out and testing out the IBIS inside this S5 Mark II and just seeing what it's capable of, because obviously it's never going to be a gimbal killer. Gimbals will still have their place, but if you can get away without using a gimbal more, that to me is a massive bonus. I'm not a particularly big fan of gimbals, if I'm honest. So this is now shooting the highest resolution possible on the Lumix S5 Mark II, shooting in 6K, and I believe in the 3:2 aspect ratio, so I can crop whichever way I want to without losing too much. That again, as mentioned before, is brilliant for if you're wanting to repurpose your videos for portrait. If you want to record landscape and portrait in the same video, it just gives you so much more options because you're losing less off the sides than if you're shooting in 16:9, which most video is shot in. Now there is a 30-minute record limit according to my camera when shooting in 6K. I'm not sure if you can increase that by going into a higher temperature mode. I still need to mess around with that. But how does it look? Does it look any different to shooting in 4K? I'm really not sure. Be interesting to find out. It might just allow you to crop in a lot more, which might be very useful for certain things. But for most things, I think I'm probably going to stick with 4K for now. I don't think we're quite at 6K level yet. And it might clog my computer up quite a bit. I'm now going to stick on the 50mm lens very quickly and just have a look at autofocus, and I'm just having a play in this video, if I'm honest. Just getting used to my new camera. I'm still very new to the Lumix ecosystem. I bought the S5 probably the beginning of December, broke it at the end of December, so it didn't last very long. I'm still getting used to using the Lumix system, so it's all very exciting. But yeah, I'm going to switch over to the 50. Right, I am now shooting on the 50mm f1.8. how's the autofocus doing? I am shooting at f1.8 because why wouldn't I? It's available, so might as well. Is the autofocus keeping up? I think it is doing a very, very good job, although it is hard to tell on this little LCD display. I should probably have plugged in my monitor, but I haven't. A little bit slower then, but it is shooting at f1.8. It's still pretty quick. I'm so impressed, I really am. Compared to the original Lumix S5, it is leaps and bounds above. I am still shooting in 6K as well, by the way, so get to see what the file sizes are like. Again, this video is just me having a play with the camera because I've not recorded with it yet. It seems to be doing a very, very good job. I'm very impressed with it. So yeah, that is the new Lumix S5 Mark II. Very, very excited to be playing around with this camera. There's loads of new features that I've not even mentioned in this video, but there's loads of other videos talking about that. I just wanted to have a quick play with it and see what the autofocus and stuff is like. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting back into making some YouTube videos now. I don't like leaving it a few weeks between making videos. I kind of get itchy feet very easily. I like to be making stuff. So yeah, gonna get back into making videos. Some videos about the Lumix S5 Mark II, and I will compare it to the original S5 as well when I get mine back from being repaired eventually. But yeah, if you like what you see on the channel, don't forget to hit subscribe, and I shall see you very soon in the next video. I'll be making proper videos again, not just me messing around like this, but yeah, I'll make some proper videos again. Hit subscribe. See you soon.